What's up, y'all? So you're on this YouTube video because you're looking to know the three biggest mistakes I've made and I've seen people make countless times again when it comes to making their first, second, or third webinar. It's cool. I got you. I got you. All right. So my name is, of course, is Darrell Gray, and I help entrepreneurs create money generating webinars, right? So let me tell you the mistake number one that I see most entrepreneurs make, and I've actually made it my first time when I did my first webinar, right? The first thing that I see, the first mistake most entrepreneurs make is one, they do not have a clear, defined outcome, right? So this is what I mean. When you start your webinar, when you have your webinar, you're feeling all good inside. But when a person comes on your webinar, they do not have a clearly defined outcome of what they will actually be able to achieve once the webinar is complete. And that is the number one mistake most people make, because if you don't have a clearly defined outcome, let me tell you what will happen. People will get confused. People will feel like, hey, this webinar is full of fluff. I sat through this hour-long webinar and I still feel just as lost as when I first hopped on the webinar, even before the webinar, right? And that will kill your sales. But look, I got you. I got you. I'm going to tell you exactly what you can do to combat that, right? So if you start your webinar and you're not, if you feel like a little lost, you're like, man, I'm not sure what to do. This is what I want you to do. I want you to take out a notepad like this, and I literally want you to write, down one to three things that a person will be able to do once they leave your webinar, right? So I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not sure if I should give people game. If you're actually doing a webinar, you want to give people the clearest, most clear-cut path to success, right? But at the end of the day, you want to have a clearly defined, hey, look, once you leave this webinar, this is what you'll be able to do. For some of my clients, that is, hey, look, once you actually leave this webinar, you'll have the actual steps to start your own box truck company. You'll actually have the steps to get funded $100,000 in 90K. I'm sorry, 90 days, right? So that's a clearly defined outcome. So when they leave that webinar, they should have at least been able to take a few steps into that path, right? If when a person leaves your webinar, they don't feel confident that they have the direct path to get to that clearly defined outcome, you failed your audience. So immediately I want you to write that down on a piece of paper, write that down, and then start implementing that in your webinar. The second mistake most people make when they're actually creating their webinars is two, they don't have an agenda, right? So in the beginning, I didn't have an agenda. I've seen conversion rates skyrocket once you actually have an agenda in your webinar. And this is what it does. It allows a person to see exactly where you're headed. It gives them a sense of security. It gives them a sense of confidence. It also gives them a sense of, okay, well, this person has an agenda. They have their stuff in order. So if you've ever been in corporate America, you ever sat in a boardroom meeting, they'll have an agenda. On today's agenda is X, Y, and Z. What that does is it keeps your webinar nice and clean, but it also helps a person's mentally, helps them stay focused. It helps them understand what they'll be covering, right? So they won't get lost. And the next thing, the third and the biggest thing that I see most people have, or the mistake that most people make in their webinar, is this. They do not have an offer, right? A great offer at the end of the webinar. Most people at the end of their webinar, they're just pitching, oh, buy my course, buy my ebook, sign up for my service, right? And that's what the amateurs do. What the pros do is they actually create an offer, an irresistible Godfather offer at the end of their masterclass, at the end of their webinar, in order to get people to actually convert, right? Now, let me tell you the difference between an offer and just pitching a product. An offer is literally a full-on experience, right? So, hey, look, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the guy Russell Brunson. He talks about, hey, look, when you sign up today, not only do you get the Facebook community, not only also you get bonus number one, you get bonus number two, you get bonus number three, you get my secrets on how to X, Y, and Z, right? You create a full-on offer to where most people are honestly just saying, hey, look, you can buy my course. In my course, we have these modules. That's it. right? Most people don't want that. They want the full on experience. They want to understand, they want to know that they're getting the most bang for their buck, and they want to feel safe and confident. So if you're on this, if you're actually watching YouTube, I want you to implement these 3 strategies, right? And stop making these mistakes. So I'm gonna see you on the next one.